one thing I always do is we have to build a plan first. So we have to go in and actually build that plan. So using Whisperflow, we can just talk to cursor here. I'll go through what the rest of these buttons are, and then we'll build the plan. And we'll review the plan, and once we're happy, then it can go away and chug and start to build those things for us. One thing I always do with these specific projects is I give it guardrails. So these are just 12 guardrails. They're just lessons learned, and you can add to this, but this is just a simple text file. It really just looks like this, and you can just add to it. Add another line, click save, and it'll update in here as well because it's all listed here. And so this is really simple. I'll let you guys read this, but don't push to GitHub unless I say so. Don't pull from GitHub unless I tell you to. Always push to my specific account. Make things brief and avoid long summaries of things. You really have to steer the codex to be able to do what you want, as these LLMs will tend to just go off and do their own thing. Good question, Don. So Whisperflow or Super Whisper? I tried both. Whisperflow is very smooth, it's very nice, but it was almost double the price of Super Whisper. So I went with Super Whisper on my Windows machine just because it was just saving me money. But both of them very powerful tools, and they're both offering lots and lots of features. So yeah, great question, Don. And so yeah, basically we have this here, and yeah, the rest of the guardrails. Yeah, I can upload this to my Google Drive, and you guys can access this. So if you need this, you can just drop a comment if you want it. Very, very useful tool to be able to go in and make sure that we're not going too off the rails. And so what we're going to build today is basically going to be building. I've got the video production side of things on my website and the 3D viewers, but specifically what I want to do is help with like a quote calculator, okay, and then being able to input information and for them to be able to see something. So let's see what we get, and we can just talk to it and go from there. So this we've covered what's in this pane, but along the bottom we've got some extra things here. So if you hit this plus on the bottom left, we can actually enable plan mode, which is very important, and it's exactly what we need to do now. And there's other plugins you can install, like GitHub, so that actually helps with the uploading. That's an extra thing, but you can also add PDFs and photos and screenshots to actually help diagnose and solve specific problems. Default permissions is what I've got. Auto review, where Codex runs the commands in a sandbox and then basically can, without your explicit permission, be able to continue with the plan and be able to work through those things and actually solve that, which is really, really useful, because it'll ask for sometimes very dev heavy, very complex requests, and sometimes it's good just to let it build it, but other times you want to check absolutely everything of what it's doing in a kind of step-by-step manner. And then you've also got full access down here, which I've not done that. I don't trust it that much, so we're gonna leave it like that at that point, and that's just my preference here. And so we can actually select different models of Codex. So here we can click this drop down, and you've got intelligence level, so low, medium, high, or extra high down here. And medium is fine for most things. That's what the default was. I just had it on high for something else. You've got also a drop down for different models. I'm using 5.3 Codex. There was 5.2 Codex, but they've now taken that off because GPT 5.5 is here. I'm not sure if they're going to be releasing a 5.5 Codex version specifically, whether they'll just do 5.4 or skip it, who knows. And then you've got speed, so you've got standard or fast. I've been using fast, which doubles the credits used, and you have an actual amount of usage with GPT Plus or the next paid version, and you'll see as we're using it, we'll actually get a little dial of how much we've used this week. Oh, one sec. Okay. Cool. Should be good. And so, yes, you'll be able to actually see what your usage is. So you have a 5 hourly usage quota, and then a weekly usage as well. So every 5 hours you'll be able, if you hit the token limit, you then have to wait until the specified time. So that might be in 3 hours time, for example. So depending on how heavy you use it, whether you have it on extra high, double speed, all of these things are gonna take those tokens up and actually cost you more. But it really depends on what you're building. If you're building something that is sort of 3D native, maybe 3JS, or is dealing with 3D models, there's a lot more more dependencies to download and parts to include and make there. So yeah, okay, so let's have a little look about what we're going to build today. So yeah, let's have a look. So just a local business brief builder, okay? And so let's define like the problem, the user story for the client, and yeah, get this all to work. So what I have is I've actually got a little brief on the side, but what I'm going to do is actually read through what I want. So using Super Whisper, I'm just going to talk straight into this box at the bottom. That's going to open up a new chat here, and then we're gonna start the process, let it build something, and then as I said before, we'll test each time we go. We'll see if it's interpreted well or not. So we'll just go with codecs. We'll go for medium intelligence. We'll go double speed now just because we're streaming, and then we'll make sure that we're definitely in plan mode. Okay, and so let's have a little look. So one thing is really key when dealing with LLMs. I always ask them to put on a persona. We've got to put on the specific output that we want this information to be in, and at this point we're just doing the planning. We want to, but specifically we might want it in bullet points, or we might want it, in a specific structured format. And so, yeah, let's just jump in and see what we want to do. So let's just jump in. Okay, so we're going to build a plan. I'm going to want to build a small little web app that I can embed in my website, and it's essentially going to be on the video page of the new website, and it's going to be like a brief builder. So I want clients, potential clients, to go to the website, and instead of clicking the button for the email, they actually put in a bit of information, and they'll actually either that'll build the brief that then comes to me, so I get a bit more information, and then I can actually follow up with that conversation. And so, yeah, the bits of information that I need here. So I want this to be HTML, CSS, and JavaScript only. I don't want any backend. I don't want any login, no external APIs. I want the design nice and clean as per my csvstudio.co.uk website already is. I can include a screenshot. It's clean, modern, professional. I want it mobile responsive as well. And so the inputs that I want the business to put in their name, what type of business they are, what their goals are, the target customers, the product or service they want to promote, whether there's a specific style they have, and a call to action to put at the end. And so the outputs of this is a one-sentence strategy. We can do a 30-second video concept, a simple shot list, suggested opening hook, CTA, and a package tier as well. So we just want this to pull from different things. And guardrails, don't overcomplicate the app. This has got to be super lightweight and performant, and keep all the logic nice and simple. Use clear comments, and yeah, prioritize a working MVP over advanced features. And so that was very long, basically yapping, and that's filled that in. Okay, so this is the prompts that I'm putting in specifically to see how this goes. So we put this in, we are definitely in plan mode. So now I'm just gonna hit go. Yeah, medium's fine. Okay, so there we go. Now we're in this chat window with codecs within cursor. Okay, and so now that we're running this, let's have a little look. And now it's really a case of how's it feel? What do we want this to be like? We've got a feeling. We've got some parameters here. We've got our guardrails as well. And now what's happening is it's actually going to ask you questions back. So this is where it becomes a really powerful tool where you're specifically, you have a plan, but getting the LLM to ask you questions to help refine it is super, super useful. Very, very powerful. So here is asking, without a backend, how should the generated brief get to you after the user submits? And I want a mail to draft, so that's actually like sending me an email, and you can hover over here, and it specifically says here, open user email client and preferred subject body containing the generated brief. Or you can actually show the brief, one-click copy, and it pastes it into the email, download a text, or you can ask it what to do. So let's start with this, and then we can always add the feature where it emails me that thing later. So we click which option we want, and it's going to set, and it's got another question for me. So there's 3 of these. How should the package tier be determined in the MVP? Simple and rule-based, or the user picks the tier. And I actually have tiers on my website at the moment, so what I'll do is I will specifically include those. So I'm actually going to add this to the bottom. This is the 4th option, and I say I have tiers on my website. I'll give you, and the user can select from dropdown. Sometimes this is easier just to type, but you can do both. So let's continue that. And then the last one, how do you want this integrated on your video page? Either an inline section, so embedded directly in the page, which is exactly what I want. There's a pop-up or an iframe. Let's just say for this MVP, we will do just a new clean page to be integrated inline section later. So it might add some things, some extra code in there, so easy plug-in later, or it might just wait. So we are giving it a lot of control to be able to do quite a lot and do a lot of the coding heavy lifting for us. So yeah, it's super, super useful. Okay, 3 more questions. So this is great. This is going to give us the best plan so that it can just go ahead and work and do what it needs to. So which fields should be required before generating the brief? All fields required. So yeah, this is the kind of thing where you don't want to stop people because they've got to give too much information. Let's just do core for now, and we'll add more later. Which tone should the generated strategy concept use? Professional and direct. This is recommended. And for the shot list, how many shots? Let's do 5. Let's see how we go. And now it's sat there thinking. And this is the full chat feed. So this is building, and we've got some more things here. How should we define a package tiers for the MVP? Wait for exact tiers. I've got the tiers. I'm gonna tell it I've got them, and I'll give them to you shortly. And what we'll do is we'll open it up and screenshot it. So this is where we want it. We want it to be here. So at the moment we've got get in touch, sends an email. These are the tiers I have now, just for basic things, basic websites. I use a window. No. Command Shift. No. Windows Shift S. Come on. Rectangle. Here we go. Cool. So that's added a screenshot, and then go back to cursor, and then I can actually paste that in a minute. Should brief outputs be deterministic from the same inputs or vary each time? So we want them deterministic, so there's no variance. Should the email draft include both raw form inputs and generated inputs? We'll do both, see how that goes. We'll paste this in, and whilst it's thinking, we can actually still submit this. Oh, okay. Well, we can, but we'll come back because this overrides it. If a user selects a package tier from the dropdown, what should the output do? Echo selected tier. How should we specify style? Free text. Yeah, we'll go free text. Let's go pricing tiers. Now, if I hit enter or this arrow here, that will wait until it's finished. And now it's submitted it, but there also was a steer button. Okay, and so the steering button would have actually interrupted one of the steps and then given it here. So I've given it the pricing tier. We'll see if it's included in the plan. So it's now received my basic splurge of and yapping of what I want it to do as just a rough plan. I've got an idea. I've got an end destination. It's really tough if you go in with a completely blank canvas and you don't know what you want to build. So going in with a plan, or with an idea in mind, and then use the LLM to actually help build the plan, super useful.